We are at 2 minutes after, so we are going to start right now, guys. So let's come right into this moment. Let's get present real quick, and then we're going to create some agreements. Then we're going to have an action-packed hour for you guys. So let's get present right here, right now. So start off with just becoming aware that you're breathing. Now let's start consciously breathing. So into the count of three and out to the count of three. Now take your attention right to the center of your chest where your heart lies and breathe right into there. That is the place today that I want you guys to come from. Okay, let's create an agreement. What I want to do today is I want to give some space and time to the people that were not in San Diego. I want to serve them. I want to give them the opportunity to ask any questions. I want to give them the opportunity to have a hot seat. I want them to have an opportunity to get anything not loose for them too. I don't know if you guys remember, but an initial agreement we made when you guys all came into level 2 is that we're not going to leave anybody behind. So some people don't get to go to the live events or they have other things going on. Um, and it's just really important to us that they feel that they're not being left behind, that they don't have any regrets, that they don't feel um, left out. So what we're going to do today is we're going to give hot seats to the people that weren't able to go, and then what I'm going to request of everybody that was there, I'd love for you to have what's the takeaway that you're taking from San Diego that you're going to implement into your business. It can be tactical, leadership, it can be whatever it is, but I want to go around the room and start with everybody that was there. What's the one big thing? What's the most important thing that you think is going to make the biggest impact in your life, your business, that you can share? And then we're going to open it up to hot seats for the people that weren't there. So let's create an agreement between you and you right now. What kind of time do you have present for that call? I have until right at the top of the hour. So I have 55 minutes from this point. What do you have to be present? Let me give you some space on this too. If you just heard what I said and you said, look, dude, I've got a closing here in 20 minutes, or I've got this, right? I've got the mortgage business going on, and you can't be present to it. Totally cool. Nobody judges anybody. Say, peace out. I'm out right now. Nobody judges if you say I got till 30 minutes and I can be totally present. I got 30 minutes. That's totally cool. It actually just doesn't matter. But what does matter is that you're in integrity with what you say. That's the only thing that matters. Okay, great. So for everybody that's able to stay and be present for this call, I'm going to go down the list. Okay, I'm looking at the participant list. I don't know if you see that on your screen. It looks to me that it's in alphabetical order based on your first name is how it's showing up on my screen. So I'm seeing Aaron Dehart there first. Aaron, I don't know if you heard, but everybody is going to share what's the biggest thing that you could give. This is a giving session right now. This is for the 4 or 5 or 6 people that weren't able to be there. This is you saying, hey, you know what? I learned this, or I discovered this, or I have this thing that's going to make a big impact in my life and business, and I want to share it with you. Okay, that's where this place is coming from. So we're going to go down the list first, and then I'm going to go down that list again, and I'm going to give everybody that wasn't there a hot seat that you can, I'll give you some context for the hot seat, but I want you guys to feel served. And we want to serve you guys that weren't able to be there first. So we're going to go, I see Andy Watson will go first. He wasn't there. I see Scott Pendleton wasn't there, you're going to go second. And Shannon Dahman's going to go third. If we have any time after that, I'll open it up for everybody to see if anybody else has a hot seat that they want to get some support around. So that's what the context of our conversation is today. So let's do this. Aaron Dehart, if you can unmute yourself and just share something that somebody that wasn't there gets a benefit from.
Good morning, everybody. So I think my biggest takeaway was surrendering to the fact that the mortgage business is an imperfect business, and to allow myself more grace, not only when I make mistakes, but when someone on my team makes a mistake. It's not the end of the world.
So let's have a conversation really quick about that. What do you mean surrendering to the fact that the mortgage business is imperfect? What do you define that for me?
Just that I'm not in control of everything. I can't control that an appraiser charges $800 to go out to the boonies to do an appraisal, and it takes them 3 weeks to get it back to us. That's not on me. That's not my monkey.
It's not your responsibility to take it on.
Exactly. So and it already started, man. I came home and Monday the girls on my team are like, oh my gosh, my team's like, this happened. And I'm like, it'll be okay.
Nice.
So they kind of looked at me and they're all, you all right?
What did they do to you in San Diego?
Yep, exactly. So, yeah. So I think they appreciated that. So, cause I also realized, cause I had a good conversation with Chrissy, who's my transaction coordinator yesterday, and I never knew this. And she actually told me she was a little bit afraid of me.
She was what? Say it again?
She actually told me that she was a little bit afraid of me.
I'm going to bet that almost everybody feels that way about you guys on your team.
So that kind of
Scott Pendleton's like, no way. I'm just telling you, man. Yeah. Well, hats off for you for giving her the space to tell her how she really feels. And then hats off for you to say, I'm in coaching and I'm working on that. And I'm going to start governing by agreements rather than governing by expectations.
Right.
And everything will start changing from there.
Cool. I'm not in the military anymore.
Yeah. We had a couple of conversations about that, right? Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing. Deanna.
Thank you.
My biggest takeaway was really diving in deep with the written process, the written agreements, just having everything detailed out. And we sat and presented that with our LOA the other day. And even between that conversation on Tuesday and today, we're like still filling in because it has to be so minutely detailed that everybody knows what they're supposed to do. And then also had the agreements where I'm letting Todd be in charge because he's better than me at that. And, just really working on the language that you and I talked about the other day, just taking the words need and have to out of the agreements. And, it's for me, it's going to be a lot of redoing who I am as far as just what's natural for me. But it's a daily moment by moment focus.
Awesome. Hats off for you for being brave and courageous enough to do the work. So speaking of do the work, you're up right now. Do the work, Dante Rosa Home Loans. Hello?
Dante, your sound is off.
Oh, is he trying to talk? But his mute's not off though, so it might be. All right, so you've got a technical difficulty. We're going to come back to you. So then the next one on my screen is Jane Estes.
Hey there.
Hey.
Having an awesome week. It's like this glow has just followed me. It's been awesome.
I love that.
So I've been fast and furiously writing down job descriptions and expectations because we're having
hold on. I got to help you that word.
Job
descriptions and agreements.
Agreements, yes. And there's 3 of us that are working on that, and we've been fast and furiously doing it because we're getting down to the end, and we both feel just fabulous about it.
Awesome. Yeah, everybody appreciates that, and it's kind of the work, guys, that nobody wants to do because it's like we got so many loans and we want to make money and all that stuff. But this is the long term. This is the business part building a business so that you have the time down the road.
Yep.
So great share. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jenny Stoner.
Hey,
Hey.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
So
Muffled by the waves of the ocean.
stop it. I think my two biggest takeaways were I need to add to my part of the team, and I have to let go of thinking that all the things I'm doing have to be me. So I'm just kind of navigating through that. I've gotten my first hire is still going to be an administrative assistant. That's going to be like immediate. I'm about to post that. I've worked on that job description. I think I'm going to post that today or tomorrow.
Awesome.
So just get some things off of Connie's plate and free her up some more, because I'm going to burn her out soon if I don't do that.
Awesome.
And then thinking through what that next hire is and getting comfortable with what I can let go of that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just one at a time, right? Like,
yeah,
just
right.
stay in with that.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe fall for the next one, or maybe the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but this one becomes, I want to get this one up and running and get this person to be productive, and I want to create an environment that person can feel successful.
That's great. And I want Kelly to be back before I make another hire too from maternity leave.
Cool.
So that was one for me. And the other one is I know I need to implement Process Street to handle the volume we have coming in. Mm-hmm. So I'm just diving into that a little bit more.
Yeah, and we're going to do that. I'm going to hit you up and start next week. So.
I'm waiting on you to start it, but I know it's on my horizon.
Cool. John Cabela.
Morning.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I think my biggest takeaway was just the fact that I have got to time block the time to keep working on my system. And I mean, I hear so much talk about the Process Street and all of that. I have just got it. I have to get it on paper. Get it down.
Yeah. You don't need to go to Process Street yet. So
right, but I've got to get that on paper. That
needs to be on paper. And paper can be Excel spreadsheet, John.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be complete. It just has to be. This is what we're doing at the John Cabela system today.
Mm-hmm.
See how much easier that is?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I'm building a $500 million company right now, and I need to right. Process Street and the Slack integrations and everything we were talking about sounds fun and awesome and all that, but that really is when you're in that 15 plus unit a month business. Up till then, Pipe Drive with an Excel spreadsheet works wonderfully. So I don't want anybody to feel pressure like, oh, I got to be doing that whole thing. That you don't have to do that yet. That we'll do it in level 3, which is really when somebody's over 120 or 150 units and wants to go to 250. You really don't need it till then. Does that make you feel better?
It does, yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. Jonathan Wilson.
How's it going?
Awesome.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway, like I said, was similar to John. I have an idea of how I want my clients treated through the process. I just need to take the time, and I want to take the time to write out all the processes. So every file is exactly the same from beginning to end. So that's very important, and that's my next goal here to get that.
That's started. Your video too. That was an awesome video too, by the way. That was awesome.
Oh, that was all that app. It just said, "Here's a new video from that day," and it was perfect.
What app was it?
Magisto.
How do you spell that?
Let me see. Magisto.
I mean, that was amazing. So you didn't you just have the app and it can speak to your videos that you made that day and it made it for you?
Yeah. So like any pictures that you take or any videos that you take, like you'll get a notification. Hey, we've created a new movie for you. And then you go and look at it and then you can edit it if you want to. The only thing I really did was just add the text at the beginning. But it's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Cool. Thanks for sharing. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about at level 2, what he posted in level 2, that Magisto created that video for him. That is an amazing video. Julie.
Good morning.
Hey.
I think my biggest well, I had more than one big takeaway. I had several takeaways, but the biggest thing from an impact for our business, you know, Roger and I have spent a lot of time talking to people, but we've never stated our specific intention and desire to be their number one lender. I mean, that was huge for us.
Yeah. Do you want to share that really quickly so that there's context around it? So for the people that weren't there, like what was your question and then what was the answer?
My question was, we wanted to actually be the number one lender in our market, which is a very niche community. And there are like 9 realtors out of this community that do 90% of the business. And out of those 9, we know and love 8 of them, but we don't get all their business. And it's because, and that was my aha moment, it's like, we have never really said, you know what, it is our desire to be your number one lender.
Yeah.
And ask questions and be curious as to why, what would it take?
Yeah. And guys,
wow.
so many people tiptoe around that, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll stay in marketing territory and like, if I do this video here, and then if I do this, and there's all that, which is really, once you've identified the people, you know, it's really just a function of saying, I have a desire to be in a relationship with you. How do we make that happen? And so she had already identified the people, and then you have to, it gets into, you know, interpersonal communication right there in a relationship and do that. I don't, not to segue off, I don't know if anybody watches This Is Us. I don't say anything because I'm in the first season, but it's awesome. And last night, I forgot the guy's name. He's giving advice to the Manny guy, and he says the Manny's trying to figure out how to get a girlfriend, and he says, and he just stops him. He does a coaching minute. It was awesome on him, and he says, "Okay, tell me who the person is first. Who is that?" And then you can see him go through the process, and then it comes up that the person that he really wants to be in a relationship is somebody that he knew when he was a child. And then he says, "Okay, great. Now we'll tell you how to go and be in a relationship with that person." But he was, you know, he's a star. I don't know if you guys watch it. And so he has, you know, a lot of opportunities. And so it was him becoming into this moment and saying, okay, who? So you've already identified the who. Now it's about having conversations with that person.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And Roger and I have been practicing scripts, and we're going to continue to practice so we have it nailed before we meet those people, because they're pretty influential and high powered. So we want to have it perfect.
Awesome. Kim Venable.
Hey.
Hey.
I learned so much. I have a little list here.
Cool.
Big thing for me was, and I knew this, but I need to work on my leadership skills and my self-confidence. And so I have been listening to some videos on that, trying to learn more about that. Another big thing I did when I got back was I sat down with my assistant Mary and talked to her a little bit about what had gone on the previous week, how she was feeling. Was she learning? Was she ready to learn income docs? Things like that. And we just had a good time of sharing. I showed her my Google Slides presentation so she could be a part of feeling that was her. And then I met a new realtor.
Great job. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great job. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing. Lisa Corey.
My biggest takeaway when I went in was that my job is a loan officer, but my business is sales and marketing.
Awesome. And does that make sense to everybody? That I'm looking at you in gallery view, to anybody that wasn't there. Does that make sense, Scott and Andy? I'm not seeing Andy, but Tony and Shannon. So your job's to doing the loans, which over time you can systemize that and you can hire the doing part. Your business is sales and marketing. That's what you're in business for. That's your long term. That's what we're going to be always pushing you guys to. Systemize the doing, and it takes time, right? Everybody wants it like, dude, but I'm done with the doing right now. Takes time. So hang in there, but over time, you just have to remember that sales and marketing is what you're really getting paid for. And as long as you do that, there's no computer or tech or robot or anybody that can beat you. But if the loan officer that gets involved in the transaction and becomes transactional, absolutely is a commodity, and absolutely a robot can beat you. Does that make sense, everybody? Absolutely. So, you know, our industry is so silly. They're always sending out all these fear messages. But as long as you're in sales and marketing, you're going to win long term. But if you're in the doing or you're transactional, good shot, a robot will beat you in 5 years. It's that serious. So these shifts are very, very important. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. Anything else, Lisa?
I already have an LOA in place. So I'm in the process of writing up a system. I put a system in Evernote with a checklist for her. And I'm interviewing a marketing assistant today for that position.
Awesome. Super cool. Matt Bassett.
That just reminded me, Lisa, I owe you a position agreement. I will get that shot over. My apologies.
Will you post it in the level 2 group if you don't mind?
For sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so my biggest takeaway was that I need, let me start over. I will make my own personal agreement to put myself in the right mind space / energy level before presenting.
So let's give some context around that. I was really hard on Matt on his hot seat, but it's only because I love him. So anybody that was there, it's only because I love him though. So Matt really has he has systems built, he has teams, he had a great structure. And so what he's talking about is just making the shift from like Aaron Dehart, making the shift from the military background and you need to do this and this is this, to talking about the benefit of why, and speaking to the person, speaking to his team, speaking to his recruits about the benefit to them rather than you need to do this. That's what we were talking about. Does that make sense to everybody? It's a slight shift, but I did it to him in a way that was very abrupt. But we hugged and made up at the bar that night. So I appreciate you going through that, Matt. But it is only because I knew you could handle it, and I do think that the only thing that will hold you and anybody back once you're at where Matt is ego or pride. It'll be the only thing that will hold any of you guys back once you have that. So that's where it was coming from, Matt. I know you know now that it was coming from love with me.
Yep.
Rick Melville. Unmute. Is it working? I'm not seeing him. Is he off now? Okay, so he's off. Okay. Roger.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, because I'm driving through the middle of Kansas, so if I lose you, I'm sorry.
That's the worst drive in the whole United States is Kansas.
I take offense to that.
It is the worst. It's completely flat, and you get no terrain difference in all. Like, I mean, that is the worst drive in Kansas in the whole United States. But go ahead.
Okay, I think the biggest thing that I took away is that I'm excited to jump into pipe drive and master it, so that, in the words of Jenny Stoner, we have no lead left behind.
Yeah, I loved that, what Jenny said. Yeah. Awesome, Roger. Thanks for sharing. Rick Melville just sent me a message, and then Dante, let me know if you're good to go after Rick. Okay, Rick.
Rick, your audio's not working.
I'm not even showing him on.
I mean, yeah, he's on.
You see him? I don't see him.
Yeah, his audio's not working. I haven't.
Oh, no, now I see him. Yeah, it's not working. So let's see if Dante's is working now. Maybe log in, log back out, Rick. That's what happens sometimes.
Dante's, yours isn't working either.
Let's see if Dante's going to get it here.
How about now?
Yes.
Yay!
What'd you do so you can show Rick? What'd you do? Right
I went over to the microphone and it gave me 3 choices. One was microphone USB, one was same system, and I chose microphone array. So I just tried each one that was available.
Okay, cool. What's your big takeaway?
You know, I've got 3 major ones, but I'll start with the one I think that's most important to me, and that's that this group of people, it's just an awesome support community. Never have I met so many people whose sole purpose is to share their awesomeness and not keep it from everybody. I mean, so many places are just, we don't want to tell you our secrets. Here, everybody stepped up and said, how can I help you? Here's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. And I just, to me, that's just, it's tear jerking. It's mind numbing to just go, wow, we're in this group and everybody wants to help everybody. And that's something you don't see in this industry. So
I totally agree.
I love you, Dante.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I appreciate you saying that because it's just silly when you think about the amount of mortgage volume that's out there for people to be competitive and say like that. I mean, literally in your own market, you can look at what's going on in Charlotte. I've given you guys so much credit. They're on the same market and they share. But look how happy they are. Look how successful they are. Look how a team and like there's so much more to be gained from sharing rather than, you know, that low competitive I'm better than you vibe. It's just not the right vibe.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing that. And that's hats off to each and every one of you. So,
yes. Thank you. Because when I got back, I was getting emails and and everybody was supporting me saying, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool that they care. They're not going, I'm better than you, or hey, I got an idea and I'm not sharing. So it was really cool. Yeah. My second one was it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes.
So I need to have that mindset. And I don't mean it's exciting to go, you know what? One day at a time. Yeah. Get out of your way and just do the work that needs to be done today.
Yeah, just today.
And stop trying to do everything all at once. So I had a team meeting. You guys saw my team on the projector. So we all meet every morning, all 4 of me, and just go over what do we want to accomplish today and do it. And if there's time left, let's do another thing, but get out of my way and do the work instead of making excuses. So
awesome. That's so cool. And everybody can get something with that. Guys, we all know like our minds get into like crazy places, right? You lose a loan and then you think you're literally not going to get another loan, right? And then you're out of the business and you start trying to figure out like what salary job you can get somewhere. And, everybody goes through that. But winning the day is what changed everything for me. So thanks for sharing that, Dante. When I get really involved with what do I need to do today to win this day, and I get involved with that, I go serve from that place. Amazing things happen. So great job. Rick, let's go back to you, see if it works.
All right.
Yeah, you're on.
Amazing. So takeaways, I'm going to steal Lisa, Corey, and Jenny and Kim a little bit. Realized, of course, my job is sales and marketing. And in order to do that more, you need to get a little tactical. So as accountability stuff, I have a meeting tomorrow with Ken, our sales manager, and Hannah, our ops manager, to talk about the next pre-approval LOA that we need to implement quickly. And then secondly, I have an agreement with a graduating high school student to take over a whole bunch of these social media, clicking through and finding people on Facebook groups type of stuff.
Cool.
When he graduates June 1st.
Awesome, man. That's a great takeaway. So I'm going to now go to, thanks everybody for sharing. I really appreciate that. I'm going to go, Andy Watson, you're going to go first. Now, you don't have to, so not pressure, but I want you, any of the people that weren't there, I want you to ask yourself this question. What's the one thing that, if changed, would absolutely transform either my life or the business? What's the one thing right now? What's the one thing that's holding you back? And you don't have, if you're not ready yet, I can do it like this. I don't want anybody to go just for the sake of going to appease me. I want it to land for you guys. So I can go.
There's an answer that, it comes pretty quick to my head.
Okay. So you're ready. I just didn't want to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and if it's not what you're looking for, but as far as like me, it's like, man, getting the end buyer. I mean, that's kind of what we've been talking about and trying to do here. But for me, I'm still not there yet. If I could get the client before the agents or anyone, like that's just life changing to me. Then you're holding the cards and you're not responsible to anybody.
So we do have some people that are doing a fantastic job at that. Eric's not on this call, but I would say he's probably number one from my perspective on who gets the most pure buyer leads. And then I think last year he said he was able to, I think it was 30. I don't know exactly. I don't remember, but I think he said he was able to give 30 referrals, clients to realtors. I heard Julie one of the nights say that she was able to give 7. So Julie, do you have any words of advice for Andy?
We just follow the same thing that Eric did, which is we build our Facebook groups. And I think we've had Roger's done some time with Andy trying to help him with that, with how we build those groups.
Mm-hmm.
But what we do is we actually use list reports to feed those. It also feeds our Wednesday system in addition. So what we do is we take a list report. It'll tell you who the agents are that have listings in the area you want to be in. And you can create a marketing piece, send it out to them for Wednesday and say, hey, look, we want to help market your property. Are you okay? We've got these Facebook groups. And by the way,
that's brilliant.
Yeah. And by the way, if you've got some time, we'd love to spend, 10 minutes with you and learn about how you do business.
Okay. Do you mind sharing that on a tips and tricks? I did not. You might have said it. I just didn't hear it this weekend about the list report part.
Yeah. No, I'd be happy to.
I mean, that is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so it makes it easy. We typically each week now, as far as realtors, we're looking at 3 to 5 meetings just to see. I mean, you talk to a lot of people, but not that they don't all pan out. But we're getting there as far as improving the quality.
Yeah, it's just a process to find the people too. Andy, was that helpful to you?
Yeah, that was huge, and yeah, thank you, Roger and Julie, for sitting down with me. I think I just need to take it the next step as far as like I got the group set up, and so I probably need to sit down with you guys again to.
Anytime.
To perfect that process.
Do you feel served, Andy?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything for him?
Absolutely.
You go, hey, you know what, I was thinking about this. I get a lot of direct to client leads. Anybody else? I'm looking at everybody, so you could raise your hand if you do. If not, we'll move on. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for sharing that, Andy. The next one that's shown up on my list.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah. Is Scott Pendleton.
Nothing. Well, the one thing that kind of pops into my mind is back to the system. And I think what Julie was just talking about is probably my go-to for that. I keep hearing Facebook groups, and I got to tell you, it's not something I've really embraced yet. And the biggest area of need for me in the DC system is my Wednesday system. That's the one day of the week that I probably fail at. I don't do well.
Did that
make
that
day very often? Let's just say that.
Did that make sense? The process of what Julie was saying on that? So
I think, and I have list reports, and I haven't had much success with list reports, but I'm not really doing it. So I think for me to have success with that, I need to learn from somebody like Julie. I need to maybe even give Eric Sanatelli a call, understand better how to set up the Facebook groups. Not that I think it's difficult. And really, from my perspective, I probably, because it's something I don't enjoy doing or want to do, I need to hire somebody for me.
I would agree with that right there, because I think that's the real thing that's going on, right? That plus fear too. So. Because it really is a simple, if you guys wanted, and this goes for you, and it's go to Google and say, how do I set up a Facebook group? And there's 5 steps in business. Yeah. And the next step is take the people that you know already and start adding them in there. Once you get to 200, what puts your group on algorithm kicks in and puts that in your target market, and it starts feeding for yourself. I have one we get 5 to 10 a week. People are requesting to us. And then what you do, and this is what I want to make everybody known, is the thought isn't how to get an buyer. You will get some from that, but the thought is also this is your way to talk to every realtor in your area. It gives you a platform now to have. So instead of like, hey, I want to get together and learn about you and drink coffee, they're like, did he just ask me out on a date? That's weird. Like, and it's, but now it's, hey, hey, we have this. I want to have a discussion with you. See if you'd like to put your listings in here. We're providing the service to our market. Now you're like, okay, now they take that phone call. And now you can have an eye of qualifying, which in sales is called framing. Now you have a frame.
Right.
Instead of a please give me deals frame, you're even. Hey, we're having a conversation from a marketing perspective.
Right.
And then you can hold a qualifying frame. Do I want to be in business with this person? Because if you guys are on this call, you guys are very successful already. Adding a realtor that's giving you a bunch of 532 credit scores, that is not helpful to you. And it is not going to help any of you guys. So, from the shift of any realtor is a good realtor to, oh my God, a bad realtor can actually hurt your business. So, you have to have a frame of qualifying. And then this gives you the frame of qualifying. Hey, I'm building this group. I've got 350 members in this right now. Let me see if you're a fit for me to be in a relationship where we promote your listings and stuff in there. And everything starts to shift then.
Tell me if I'm wrong here, but Dan and I've kind of had this, Dan Ellis and I've had this conversation as well. There's also some opportunity with existing groups that are out there to get involved with them that are, it's going to take time to build a group from scratch, which I've started a Facebook group, but I haven't really managed it or done much with it. Dan and I have talked about the opportunity of maybe going out and finding some already established larger groups and helping the administrator of that group create more content.
Yes. And so the reach out is to the administrator right there. That would work. But being a participant, and there's almost no way to post in an existing group to retain a frame. It's very difficult.
No, I would think from what Dan and I have discussed, and I think Scott Center does some of this. I know he's no longer part of the program, but he's I think having some success going to the administrators of existing large groups and saying, hey, let me help provide content, give me access to your group.
Yes.
Be a part of this, not just a participant.
Yeah, and the question is would it be beneficial to you if I provided some content for your group?
Right.
I just had somebody reach out to me like that on message, and I received that so well. And I said, can you show me an example of the content? And then she showed me. And then I said, okay, I'm cool with it, as long as you don't sell that it's a value thing. So anybody that approaches me and wants access to you guys from a recruiting, if I sniff it at all, I'm like, out, you don't have a shot. But if you are there to help and to serve, and I can look at it, then, I'm cool with that. And I'll watch one time, and if they do it and they tried to fool me and I'm really good, I'll know if they're trying to recruit, and as long as they keep their end of the bargain, I'd let them help. But the minute that they don't follow the rules, I'm out. So that's how every administrator thinks.
Sure.
So yes, it totally works well. There's also, you might find, I've heard this before, you might find an administrator of a group that has 10,000 people that aren't doing anything with it anymore.
Right.
And are just kind of burnt out on it. And they're like, yes, that'd be awesome. So yeah, the reach out is to an administrator.
Okay. I'm going to get on it. Or hire somebody.
Man.
Actually, I'm going to hire somebody to get on it.
That's awesome. That's even better. That's even better. Shannon.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Thanks for asking. So what really comes to the top of my mind is I've gotten away from the consistency of systems, of just really working the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday system. I've been going through a lot of changes and just with changing companies and then my team again. And so I've just let a lot go just to survive. And I know that that's what I need to do. And it just needs to start today.
So to give you some accountability around that is the next Motivational Monday, I'm going to, I think you guys are going to be shocked at the level that we've been watching you guys. if you've done the win the day, all that stuff. And we're going to show you that on the next Motivation Monday. And then we're going to acknowledge the people that did the win the day this time. And then we're going to set up a brand new challenge that we're all together starting April 2nd. So I'd love starting today, Shannon, but also know from a group we're going to be, create an accountability structure for you guys, a new one starting April 2nd. So anybody that was watching that win the day and we're like, God, I just didn't do it, or I was changing companies and I couldn't, exactly what you just said. We're going to restart it on April 2nd for the next quarter. So we're going to do it quarterly because that's what I found works the best is, look, it's only 90 days. Guys, you want in for 90 days, right? And if you can commit for that, everything will change. Now, this is the biggest quarter for you guys, the biggest doing quarter. So you have to get the right headspace for that too. You have to get very efficient, which I know you're very efficient. But you have to get really efficient to do the system and to fulfill during this next quarter. But I can tell you that in the history of Deryck Cheney mortgage coaching, in August, every single person is, I don't have any loans. That's their thing. It's that one right there. Every single year. I really should record those and then show them to you. Like, before you guys say anything, is this what you're about to say? Because every year, right, Shira? And,
except for Jenny.
Except for Jenny. But I think Jenny does a really good job of.
Kim, I think have more business than the entire country in August.
I think that they do a really good job of knowing that sales and marketing's their business. And see, what happens to almost everybody is they get involved in the doing in this quarter. They get overwhelmed, and it's normal, right? But then when July hits and people go on vacation in August, if you haven't done anything for 120 days, then, August, it's stare at the wall time. And then Labor Day hits, and then everybody goes, I'm going to get back on it. But you guys can make big strides up with just a little bit of work each day, right? Like, you guys are getting good at it. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit of proactive work, and then you won't see these giant swings. So that's my test of the Motivation Monday speech for April 2nd right there. Cool, Shannon. Anything else that we could support you on?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay, awesome. I have 16 minutes left.
Aubrey.
Oh, Aubrey's on. I didn't see she was on.
Not
Okay.
in.
Oh, hey, Aubrey.
Hi. Okay, so you said, what do I think I could benefit most from? Like one thing.
What's the one thing? Yeah, what's the one thing that right now that if you shifted would change everything in your business?
This is a tactical question for the group. So I have a lot of meetings with agents, and I even used this analogy 2 weeks ago when I was meeting with a broker of a 400 agent office. That we've been dancing for 7 years, and and I literally said, Larry, we've been dancing you call me every year. We've been dancing for 7 years. We're so far in the friend zone, and this is not just with him. This is when I'm meeting with individual agents. They're like, oh, hey, you want to get together? And we're friends. Mm-hmm. And I guess because I never asked for the business, and then I even have people I do business with that I know that they also do business with other people, and of course, I sometimes take that personally, even though I probably shouldn't. But I've had this happen twice in the last month. That two different agents said, we accepted your offer, because I was like, oh my gosh, Aubrey's a loan officer. These are listing agents. And then the transaction goes so smoothly. I sent them a thank you. I'm updating them throughout the transaction, and I never asked for business, or I don't know. In 20 years as a loan officer, I guess I've never really had to, and I just don't even know how to put a period on it and ask for. I don't know how to do that. Yeah,
and I love that. So first, before anybody goes, and I want to open this up, Julie, will you do me a favor and forward yours to Aubrey, because this was almost her exact hot seat question, and she has a video on it from the answers on it. It's you used the dating analogy already. You said the friend zone, which is it's almost the exact same thing, but you're dancing with somebody that you don't know if they're married or not, right? And so you keep dancing with somebody, and you're like, I don't even know if they're married, right? And what I told Julie, and I said it, I think, the best when we were in San Diego, but I'll try to say it again. the best thing for you to do, and for everybody that struggles with this, is to have a direct conversation with them. The way that I do that is I have a desire to be your number one lender. Is that possible? Is that doable?
So then what if they say, no, I've already loved Larry over at Origin Bank, like he's my guy. Then what? Because most people
give them a hug.
You're not sending.
Give them a hug. You give them a hug and you say, hey, if you ever can't do it, I'm here for you. But thanks for being open and honest with me.
Okay.
And you move on. Because it's causing you more mental headspace pain than tactical pain.
Yeah.
Right? So it's that, you said it, it's, the friend, it's a perfect analogy, right? But here's the deal. If you're dancing with somebody, a lot of people are going, what's your intention, Aubrey? What's your intention? And they're going, if she really wanted the business, she would ask for it.
Yeah.
That's how they're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
What if a title company just kept dancing with you and bringing you over and bringing you cupcakes and all this stuff and never said, hey, I have a desire to be your title company? Is that doable, or do you already have an existing relationship? Just shoot me straight. You're awesome. I think you're amazing at the business that you do, and I'm looking to always be in a partnership with great people. That's another way to do it. You can start like that. You're awesome. Your clients are amazing. I love the service that you provide. I am in a coaching program where I'm discovering how to get the client first as well. So I have an absolute desire to be in a relationship with the best realtors in our area. I'm not open to everybody. I can't take on anybody, but you're somebody that I would absolutely love to be in a relationship with, be in a partnership, a business partnership with. Is that something that can happen or not? Let me know. And then you have to shut up. I'm not talking.
So then you're saying, if they say, sorry, I've already got Larry at Origin Bank, like he's my guy. Okay, so just let him be and don't give him a hug and say, that's awesome.
Hey, just know that I'm here. If you ever can't do one, I'm here. And just know that I do have a desire to be your number one lender. So if that spot ever opens up, if you ever sour on Gary, if he leaves the business, I just know that I'm here and I have a desire to be your number one.
I'm sure Larry's really old. He's probably about to retire.
Right, with that name. But it gets so much easier, guys. Like, this is also a mindset thing, right, Aubrey? Because you also have to be okay with somebody, like rejecting you, and you have to be okay. And I think that that's why the majority of people don't do this, don't ask direct questions, because they don't want to get rejected. There's a fear of rejection that's bigger than a fear of growing your business. So it is internal work too, where you value yourself, right? You value yourself. You know how awesome you are. You know that not everybody is going to be a fit for you. And you know that there's nothing that happens when somebody turns you down and says no. Nothing happens.
So
it is never personal. But the problem is we take it personally. And then that inhibits us from having those conversations. And I think if I was sitting in your mind, that's what I think might be going on, is like, I tend to take things personally. So I haven't asked that question. It's easier just to dance with people.
Yeah.
Because then they could reject me. And so it's a mental shift to, I'm really good at what I do. And I love my clients. And not everybody, though, is going to want to use me, and that's cool. But you know what? I'm done with the dancing thing, because that dancing thing is beating me up, man. Typically, like with, like generally speaking, like it's the same conversation you see in the movies, right? It's usually generally it's the female that's in the friend zone with a guy, and you can't tell if the guy's going to be a marriage person or not and commit, right? And it's like, it's the same thing. Like, hey, where are we going, bud? Are we getting married, or are we just dancing for the next? It's the same thing. And then you'd be okay with whatever their answer is. Okay. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Is there anybody else here that I missed that wasn't on there? I saw Tony on for a second. But then
He was having really bad connection issues for some reason. He couldn't hear anything, so he jumped off. We're going to talk to him.
Okay, cool. So we're 9 minutes left, guys. In the chat box, if you want to say, hey, you know what? I'd like to ask a question. I want to get the group's feedback. Deryck, I want your feedback. I'd like a little mini hot seat right now on something that I got going on. Let's see if we have anybody there to that. So in the chat box, you can just say, hey, call on me. We'll see if anybody is feeling like they want to do this. Usually after San Diego, there might not be. I don't want to see, but I have a question. Awesome.
Jenny
is really in on my agreements. Like she's zoning my agreements. Like, let me just say I don't.
Jenny, put your glasses on.
But it works, right, Jenny?
I can't see y'all on the screen now.
Wait.
She just needs a picture.
Say something.
You're just gonna take a picture. You're silly, Shira.
Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome. I can't see y'all's faces when my glasses are on. So I want your, Deryck and Shira, your input and everybody's input really. I've got my job description for this administrative assistant. I'm just gonna hire part-time to start, and then with the possibility of going full-time as we grow. And in the past, I've always just posted that on social media and got so many resumes that I've hired from there. I'm just curious, do you think that's a good place to do that? Or would you do it on a more professional place like LinkedIn? I'm just looking for an admin, no mortgage experience. They've just got to have the right skill sets for administrative stuff and fit with my team.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you want a lot of resumes and you want to sift through that? Or do you want less resumes? Like, let's work backwards. Let's reverse engineer this. What do you want?
I'm willing to do the work to go through the resumes to get the best person, but I'm not dying to have a ton of resumes. Like if I can get a good person without surfing through 20 resumes, that's awesome. But I'm not opposed to doing the work of surfing through those resumes if the best person's out there that way.
So this is what I would recommend for you to consider.
Okay.
Is I would put some language at the end with very detailed on what the next steps are. And I would consider you say, do a video and submit it here. Here are the answers to answer in your video.
What are those questions I'm having them answer?
Well, the same ones. What are you trying to find out on their resume? What does a resume give you? Honestly, what does it really give you? If they're really good at resume writing, you got fooled. If they're bad at resume writing, but they're a great person, now you've said, hey, you know what? So I'm not a huge fan of resumes because really, what are you looking for on a resume?
Right.
Well, no, I'm asking you.
I'm looking
Here you go.
for...
This is being recorded. It is being recorded. So let's do it. Yeah.
It is. So that's a much easier question to ask on my other positions that I hire for, because I want somebody experienced, and so I'm looking for something pretty specific. With the admin, I feel like it's less specific. It's going to be more about the databases and spreadsheets.
Yes, there's one.
And then I want to make sure their personality fits.
But let me help you. Do you love checking the boxes? Do you get energy when a project is complete?
Okay.
Those type of questions. Do you love a job well done?
Okay.
Do you love being part of a team environment where we're all working together to complete projects? Does the idea of task management make you excited? So, because you don't want any of those people that are going to fool you, that say yes to all that stuff, and like, so you want to be like, so funny. Hillary is that person for you to find, and she's on. I don't know if she's on or not right now, but she is that person. Like, hey, Hillary, are you on right now? Are you hearing? I know she's recording, but I don't know if she's on. Maybe. Oh, okay. What would you say? What would you say are some of your, like? Let's help Jenny out right now. What do you love about your job right now? What do you love? Like, what are some of the things that she could use? Like, how does she find you? Project completer. There it is, right? Did you hear that?
Completer, yeah.
Yeah, but do you even hear the
rest I don't rest until the project is done.
Do you hear that? Like, use that language though. What
Okay.
else, Hillary?
Oh, that's so what I need. Yes, I'm not a micromanager.
Yeah, and you can almost say who this is not for. If you're looking for a micromanager, don't apply.
Yeah. Deryck, can I type that up and send it to you and get your feedback before I post it?
Please, but can we have an agreement that you do it in the Facebook group so everybody benefits?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Hillary, let's give her a couple more. And then, Jenny, this is being recorded, and you can take this part and you can send it to rev.com and I'll transcribe it for you for $1 a minute too. So, or you can type it yourself. But anything else, Hillary, what, if you can give her any more language, like who are you? What gives you energy, Hillary? Oh. Did you hear that? Make things.
Yeah.
Do you love making things run efficiently and smoothly? Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's good.
Jenny's like,
see.
can I just have Hillary?
Hillary, what does Deryck pay you, Hillary?
I need her here. Well, there in Charlotte. Okay, good. And then you
She gets
suggest
a lot
I
of
have
energy.
them?
Yeah, but I think the other thing too, Hillary, that you might be leaving out about you, at least my perception on you, is that you love to serve. I think you get energy from serving. Like you're totally okay with the role of me being the lead and that you serving in order to serve the clients better. Would you say that that's? That's one. Oh, did you guys hear that?
That's golden.
I enjoy meeting the needs of leaders. And that's the, okay, we're going to create an awesome job description, me and you here, Jenny. This is going to be awesome. So post it on there and we'll rewrite it a little bit for you too.
Okay, that's good. And then you suggest I have them, instead of sending resumes, do a video about what am I asking them to do a video about and send to me specifically?
Yeah. So Hillary, I really want to know your take on this. If when you applied, if I said you had to submit a video, would that preclude you because you're not? Yeah. Would that, that's what I'm worried about. Well, she's an introvert too. See, did you hear that? And that's what and Hillary is an absolute, she gets energy. She's introverted. She doesn't get energy how you get energy wanting to be out there giving people a hug on video. So, but the thing that I think, if I'm you, I love that about Hillary, because I was pretty hard on her to get this job, and I could see it didn't make her comfortable to do it, but she did it, right, Hillary? That whole process. But she did it, and so that was important for me to see that she really was somebody that would follow through and do what we needed to do. So you do the best call for yourself.
Okay.
Can I offer something?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So one thing I've been doing is, after I get their resume, and usually have an initial whether it's conversation in person or over the phone, I challenge everybody to, as the next step, is to do the Strength Finder test, or you could use whatever personality profile test.
We use
but I don't pay for it. I make them go get the book or go online and do it, and then send it to me, because I'm basically testing to see if they're a doer or not.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
in there
that's
too.
good feedback.
I'm just not a gigantic fan of it, because now you got a bunch of resumes, and then becomes, what's your criteria after the resume phase, right? Because then so I'm not gigantic on the resume thing. I'm looking for what Matt just said, a combination of who they are and their ability to complete. So I have a long process that I kind of put them through. But if you do big on social media into your email database, does anybody know anything like this? I think you'll get more out of submit a video here than you will get out of submit a resume here.
Okay.
We all know how much energy you're going to get the person's energy through the video, which volumes in addition to their actual.
Well, it's scary to do it too. You can't fake a video like you can fake a resume.
Yeah, I like it.
And so I think in those questions you can say this. You can say, "Tell me why you're the perfect fit for this job."
I'm gonna write that down.
What gives you energy in a job? Tell me why you're the perfect fit for this. What gives you energy? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I ask that question because if somebody's like, well, I'm going to go to grad school to be a doctor, I'm going to take a pass.
Right.
You know, I'm like, well, I'm not going to train because the way that I do it is I want somebody long-term, right?
Yeah, me too.
So I don't want to train somebody because they're not profitable for probably 6 months, right? So I want somebody long-term. So I want somebody to say, well, like in this case, like how Hillary is like, my number one priority is my family and job secondary to me. I want a job that I can do complete tasks and feel valued. And I was like, whoa, that's great. But if it was, I'm always wanted to be an artist. So, then you're like, go be an artist. That's awesome.
Okay. I'll tweak what I have and then I'll post it in the group and I'll let y'all.
That would be fantastic. And that would serve a lot of people too.
Sure.
So
okay, thank you.
let's nail this. Yeah, we'll nail it together. Cool. Guys, we're at 103. Hopefully that was helpful to each and every one of you guys. You guys have an amazing Thursday. I appreciate everybody in this group. I appreciate all you guys sharing with the people that didn't show up too, so that they feel valued and they don't feel left behind. So I appreciate that. You guys have an awesome Thursday. I'll talk to you soon. Awesome.